My name is Kansime Shalom. Well, other people can pronounce Shalom, so they call me Lom. Well, my friends only. Yeah, that's me. Born Ugandan, raised Kenyan, now in Denver. When I left Africa to come to the States, I was 25. Well, it didn't all start with moving to the US. I didn't move to the US. I was relocated to the US. I moved from Uganda to Nairobi because, again, I grew up in a church-based family. And as we all know about Sodom and Gomorrah and what happened according to the Bible, it was a topic that we had with my parent, and they really didn't agree with what it was or how I identified as. It became uncomfortable, and the more it became uncomfortable is the more I got to realize, you know what if I went to another place where nobody has to know, like I can just try to understand who I am. I went to Nairobi like for a few months, and then I came back home because I couldn't stay on my own. I was like 18. Later on, I was like, you know what, I just can't. I can't keep doing this. Like, we can't connect anymore because, you know, I'm not what you expect me to be. And at the same time, I can't hide who I am. It became really tough connecting with not just family, but friends and the community. And to make things worse, Uganda decided to pass the anti-gay bill. I got to see some of the people that I know from our community back in Uganda that were LGBTQ being killed by the mob. But seeing that also the community that I found to be safe, it was no longer safe because now the country made it unsafe, legally unsafe. I decided to leave Uganda and move to Kenya at the age of 19. Now I was a refugee. I didn't have a home no more, just because of who I identified as. I had a backpack, a small backpack, and I had one pair of shoes, and Kenya became home for me. It wasn't safe there either, because it was really wild, but it was way safer than back home. It's not legal to identify as LGBTQ in Nairobi, but people just look at it as, you know, you're just being a cross-dresser or something. So there was this time that we were having a good time, and it was one of our housemates' birthday that we were celebrating. Cops broke in, started whipping everybody. People started jumping over the fences because they noticed that this is a house full of refugees and Kenyans that also are LGBTQ. It became a targeted spot. We moved from one place to the other, from area to area to area, because no place was still safe. Getting refugee documentation is a problem for most refugees, and mostly LGBTQ refugees in Nairobi. One morning, when one of the roommates was going to work as usual, they opened the door, forgot to keep it closed, but it was 6 in the morning. So they're getting ready to go to work, and some thugs get into the house. So for some of us who were still in bed, all we could hear were machetes like cracking onto the walls. We come out and we see 4 guys with very sharp machetes. They squeezed all of us. We were like 12 people in this house. They put us all in one small room and told us, we know that all of you are gay. One of our roommates, when we were being piled up in one room, they were in the restroom. So they sent a text to one of our friends and cops came. None of us was hurt, but all getting to see that these were young boys. However much, yes, they had held us hostages, but they were just as young as we were, being shot dead in the same place that we stay was one of the scariest things I'd ever seen. A few months later, I was resettled to Colorado. My first impression, well, the first thing that got to my mind was, we're doing it again. Like, starting up again. And I was like, well, excited but scared. The biggest surprise was the number of white people to black people. I get into a room and I'm sketching around for who is any person of color in the room. So it was really a big cultural difference for me. People in Denver are really friendly, and they made the whole transitioning really easy. The transition is scary, but it's so worth it. Colorado is amazing. And it's okay not to be okay. You don't have to create an excuse for people treating you bad for who you identify as or who you are.
You've been here 2 years, right? What would you like for your life over the next, I don't know, few years? What do you want for yourself?
Well, I've already accomplished one of the things that I wanted, which was to work in a non-profit organization, mainly for refugees. You see why it takes so long and what is the process, how the whole system works, which has really been satisfying, getting to support refugees from other countries and getting to see someone who didn't actually speak English at all, supporting them to see them independent and being able to actually make a conversation. That was one of my dreams, which I feel like I have been able to accomplish. I would love to get into school, try as many new things as I can, probably go to the mountains. Yeah, go to the mountains, hike somewhere and camp probably, yeah. Because that's the next thing I want to try. Fall in love, yeah. And be actually free about it. I had never known how that felt like. So I would like to know how that feels. Yeah, that I can actually be who I am and it's nobody's business. I'm African. I'm Shalom. That's who I am. Can't see me. You're typical African. And carrying my roots with me is one blessing and one gift I carry as a crown on my head every day. Yep. I'm Shalom. I'm African. That's me.
My name is Tetiana Sherman. I came from Ukraine 2 years ago. I'm a chef instructor. I teach people how to cook and make their life delicious and bright. I teach them the basic of culinary, and this can be cuisine of any country of the world. And I'm proud to be ambassador of Ukrainian cuisine as well. I'm nervous, and when I speak about Ukraine, I reconnect with my country. I feel about it and think about it, and when I usually make public speakers, I always take with me napkins. I'm sorry for this. Okay. It's maybe too emotional. When we escaped from the war, and this is 7 long days of my life, and we go like this. 3 of us, me, my son, and cat. Cat's name is Phoenixa. Phoenixa and Dima, yes. This is the main character for my story. We were like food and water, and there was digital temperature. It was very cold, and we have limited fuel. Gas stations were closed, and if you are lucky to find it, they give you just a limited quantity of fuel. And you need to choose, either you move ahead or you keep your car head warm. And of course I decided to move ahead, and we were frozen, so she also. So we put her here and time from time, and she keep us warm, and we keep her warm. I don't know who saved, who helped more each other. It was hard time to leave everything behind me. I should make this decision very quickly. And when you left everything behind you, your life, your friends, the place where you live, your surrounding, your everything, it's painful. I was born there. Everything is understandable there. The language we are speaking, the food we are eating. And people ask me about my story, how I escaping from Ukraine, how it was. It was difficult to me to speak about it, but then I understood that it's actually just one way to share, to show people here how lucky are they, because they have electricity, they have food, they don't need to pull out from the bed at the night their children in pajamas. And I need to go through this fear and just faced with this fear and continue and continue to do it. This is just one way to go through it, to face with your fear. My beloved husband, my new family, he has 5 siblings. That's a huge family. And they were so friendly, they helped me a lot to assimilate here. So they just meet me like I was in their life, always. They weren't with me physically, but they were with me mentally. And I am so gratitude. We met with him 4 years ago online. And after a lot of correspondence, meeting on Skype, online, we decided to meet in reality. And our first meeting was in Paris. We fell in love. He came twice in Ukraine to visit me, and he wanted to be introduced to my family as well. And then 2 weeks before, we applied for fiancé visa, but we were broke, our plans, and I escaped to Europe. We left our apartment at the morning when war started, when Kiev started to be bombed, and we just left everything behind us. Someone told once that the most important things in your life you can carry in your 2 hands, and that's true. I took my son in one and my kid in the second, in other, and we left our home. James wrote a lot of letters to congressmen, tried to contact to government structure to speed up my process, but it's months, and we are waiting, nothing happened. And then Biden made a program, Uniting for Ukraine, and James said, it doesn't matter how you come here, you will be in safety. So we landed in June in Denver as 2 refugees. I come to this registration desk and they say, okay, what documents you need? And they said, actually just your passport. I said, that's all? And I was so happy to go through this last door, and there was my James, who waiting for me and hugged me. James brought us to Fort Collins. Not Fort Collins, we actually live in the small town near Fort Collins in Timnath. So I was curious to know more about this town, about his history, about the people there, and create my networking, to have, girls chatting with somebody with a cup of coffee, about anything. Oh, I was surprised with many things. Everything is different comparing with Ukraine. Cars, roads, even sign on the roads, and food, shops, culture, language, ingredients, a lot of. But I was surprised to find that people here very friendly, with open hearts. My advice is to people who just come, be active. Try to assimilate here as soon as possible. Learn English and knock to all doors here, because if you knock to the door, they will be definitely opened. I received a lot of help here from different structures when I just connect with them and say, guys, I'm in the corner with it. Can you help me? And I don't speak about money. I speak about just give me direction, where I can learn English better, how I can apply for job, how I can create my networking or something like that. And believe in yourself. You are in the country of freedom and possibilities. And if you really want to settle here and name this place like your second home, do something, move. Ask people, ask for help in good way, and you will definitely receive this help here. People were friendly with me and still friendly with me when they understand, when you show that you want to be active here. You don't want to be just, to be passive. When you breathe, you enjoy your life. You feel confidence. You feel freedom. I have a husband. I am protected. I am the part of this land now. I belong to this land.
My name is Mohamed, that's my first name. Juma is my last name, so Mohamed A Juma. I was resettled here as a refugee from a refugee camp, and Denver became my second home. I was born in Sudan, and then the first 10 years, 12 years of my life in Sudan, war started, and ended up in a refugee camp in Kenya, and that was a whole total different cultural shock, different culture, different people, different language. I got 3 sisters and we have 5 siblings, plus have my mom and dad here with us as well. When the war started, we got separated, and then later after 3 months, my dad got reunited again to the displaced camp, and then we got together to the refugee camp. Then we got resettled to the US, and here's a whole different total shock, different culture, different things that got adapt to and learn things. First thing, we got resettled to Colorado from the refugee camp. We got landed here at night, actually. That was the first time seeing that much light from the plane within the city. There are some volunteers that volunteered with the agency that got resettled us here, and they welcomed us with open arms, and it was so beautiful. It was so relieving. They got us home, and food everywhere. It was just like food off table, and that was a shock because we have never seen food like that. So it was just life-changing moment. Right now I do cultural navigation or community navigator. What we do is help our fellow refugees and immigrants as they get resettled here. And we have a lot of people move from different states comes here because they can get to benefit that can help them, through their day-to-day life or through their life. So Denver, I think, is one of the best states currently helping and doing more to the people. They're still dreaming of going back and have that lifestyle that what they used to, but I don't think that's happening. And I can speak for most of refugees that the older generations, like my parents, they will never adapt soon to this cultural aspect here in the States. It's just because back home or people interact to each other. You can go to a neighbor's house as if it's your house. Everyone knows everyone within the city, like the village or the city. That was beautiful life, beautiful culture that they have. But here is a whole different aspect of culture and life. I am very happy here, and when I look back and compare the lives here, I'm getting more opportunities. I can work, can help out people, so it's very fulfilling. I got married last in 2022. Yeah, thank you. I have a daughter now, and it's just she puts smiles in my face every time. Just get myself smiling when I think of that little human being. It's just so amazing. I do want me to be successful as possible, to be a role model to refugees and immigrants, that they can also work hard and help out people and do changes within the society that they live in here within the state. I'd like to have, for example, my daughter to have a safe environment and a better access to life than what I had. First year is just very tough, and will put people in societal thought, and people will regret life, and all that is just because of the toughness that they come to a new country. Just focus on being patient and just ask around people from your community first, and then you can build up to integrate to the whole society. People here in Colorado are more welcomed. They smile to people, they say hi to people, so it's very, very good. It's just things like, for example, my mom was riding the bus and someone told her that, go back to your country, why are you wearing this scarf? Because she wears the hijab, and she just ignored everything that what the guy was saying. But it's just minor things. It doesn't feel as dangerous as the other places. Yeah. Colorado is very, very good, livable state. People think that all refugees and immigrants here to take advantage of the taxpayers within the U.S. or within the state of Colorado. And also the other thing is that people think most of the refugees are not educated, but people work hard because they have families, their lifestyle that they gotta maintain here, and they have people in refugee camp that they gotta support, people in different refugee camp that from family members that they gotta support. So they work as much as twice to help out and contribute to the society as well. So I think that's the most things that get misunderstood by the American people or the host community. There are some different classification within the migrants or within the immigrants, that as an umbrella is just we all come through the immigration process to get to the US, but there are some classification with all this type of people that come through this this migrant thing. So refugees, people being forced due to war, persecutions within their home country, so they just run to find seek for safety. They go to a different country, and then they go to a non-profit like a UNHCR to register and get shelter, get some food, basic needs, and then they get resettled to the US, to Canada, Australia, based on the refugee status. So the first 8 months or the 6 months, we do get help with food stamp, medical coverage, and that sort of benefits. There are immigrants, those who willing just, I give example, someone lives in Saudi Arabia or Germany, they don't have any war in their country, it's just peaceful. They just wanted to go to the US to just pursue better life there, of what they saw, what they know, and then they do all their paperwork by them. They apply, and then they come here without any resources from the government or from non-profits. They rent, and they just much to society by themselves. I don't think that will offend someone if they said, if they told them you are immigrants or refugees. That's how we get classified when you run from your country as to seek for safety. Be classified as that's how it is. But I personally will not get offended by that. I came from a refugee background, my immigrant background, and that's part of my identity. Yeah. Finally, I'm settled here in the U.S. Better life now. For these opportunities that I can access, and I feel pretty good because this become sort of final destination.
PBS 12 believes in the power of original, local programming. Help us bring more shows, like the one you just watched, by donating at pbs12.org/program support today.